You can gain access to super fast internet with this simple adapter. Let's check it out. Dave Taylor here, and I want to talk about internet connectivity, because if you're like me, you probably spend a lot of time on Wi-Fi networks. Now, Wi-Fi can be pretty fast if you have a good connection and good Wi-Fi equipment, but there's always a performance penalty versus a hardwired connection. What's a hardwired connection? It's Ethernet. That's what this is. And you might have encountered this, for example, in a hotel room or in your office. A lot of offices and facilities like to use these because there's no way for someone to tap into the network, right? If you're a Wi-Fi network, I can sit in the parking lot and potentially actually connect. That would be bad. So this not only gives you better security, but Ethernet gives you significantly faster performance. Problem is that most computers don't include Ethernet anymore. Enter this. This is the DriverGenius dual port Ethernet adapter, and it's a simple but super effective solution. It has two Ethernet connections on the end, so you can connect it to different networks simultaneously. It's USB-A or USB 3 on the end, that rectangle, and it even has another one of those ports in it so you don't actually lose that connection. So what I thought would be fun to do would be to actually run the speed test on my PC with Wi-Fi, and I have really good Wi-Fi, and then plug in my Ethernet and run that same test again. Now, let me tell you, this is compatible with Mac, PC, Linux, probably Chromebooks, really anything you can imagine. And it's not just laptops. This could be great for your desktop. If you are used to having an Ethernet connection and suddenly it's not working right, this thing supports gigabit Ethernet, which means 10 base T, 100 base T, and 1,000 base T. All of that ready to go out of this simple little device that comes in this rather handsome looking package. But I know you're not interested in this, you're interested in what this can do. So let me bring the camera around over my shoulder so you can see the screen and you'll see what I'm talking about with this performance. All right, let's start with a speed test for Wi-Fi. And as you can see on the right, the Wi-Fi is how I'm connected to the internet. And as I said, I have pretty decent Wi-Fi connectivity and pretty decent performance, as you'll see with this speed test app that I just grabbed out of the Microsoft Store. And then what I'll do is I'll turn off Wi-Fi, I will plug in the Ethernet, and then I will actually run the speed test again using that Ethernet connection. So here you can see my downloads, about 300 megabytes a second, and upload looks like it's at about 40 megabytes a second. All right, that's good numbers. Now, let me turn off Wi-Fi, which now my computer will say, hey, you're not on the internet. So now I'm going to use this DriverGenius device, plug in my Ethernet, plug this into the computer, and after a moment or two, you'll see over here that it will recognize the Ethernet, it will recognize the connection, and now I'm connected to the internet again, but this time when I run the speed test, we're going to see different numbers. If it runs. Let's see, there we go. And you can see already it is significantly faster, like multiples faster. That is a really impressive download speed. And it looks like we're averaging about 940 megabits per second. That's pretty close to a gig. That is a really sweet speed. But interestingly, the upload speed seems to be all over the place. So here it's at about 30 megs, but I think that last time I ran the test, I got about 45 meg. So for some reason, that upload test number can be different. In fact, let's run it again and see what we get. So download again should be gloriously fast. And I just love that the meter just automatically pegs at the maximum possible speed. That's kind of what you want to see. And then we'll see, it doesn't really make sense that the upload speed would be slower than it is via Wi-Fi. So let's see this time what happens. So there we go. So we're getting about the same speed. And this is pretty typical of these speed tests, that you need to run them a half dozen times to get a good average number. Anyway, there you go. There's our speed test of Ethernet versus Wi-Fi. Let me jump back on camera. So that's it. I mean, it's not a super complicated device. It just serves its purpose and serves it in a lightning fast way. So as you saw, the speed test was pretty darn sweet. So let me just unplug this and let's just talk about it just a tiny bit more. So let me give you the dimensions. It is 3 inches by 2.4 inches by about 3/4 of an inch thick. And the little cable on the end of it is about 6.5 inches long. So there are your dimensions. It is so light that you're pretty convinced that there's actually nothing in there, but obviously there is something because it works. So what we need to talk about is we need to talk about the price. But before we get to the price, I'm going to ask if you could subscribe to my channel. Click or tap on that subscribe button and we're connected. Great. All right. This is the DriverGenius dual port Ethernet adapter, and it's $42.99, but when I looked, it was discounted down to $31.38 at Amazon.com. If you have need to use Ethernet, this is a great tool to have in your toolbox. So I say check it out. That's all I got. I'm going back to my super fast downloads, which means I'll catch you in my next video.